अब मैं आमंत्रित कर रहा हूँ. Now I am inviting a very dignified personality. His Swami Amrit Suryananda ji. He has deep roots. Physically, he has deep roots in Portugal, but he has gone to the depth and width and the heights of yoga. He has chosen to be a servant of yoga, and that's why this, my native land, has honored him with coveted Padma Shri. I welcome Swami Amrit Suryananda ji and invite him to continue the discourse.
Dirijo-me a Vossas Excelências como Presidente da Confederação Europeia do Yoga e também da Confederação Portuguesa do Yoga. E devido ao meu mau inglês, e para não tomar muito tempo a Vossas Excelências, vou pedir à minha Shishya, Anandi, que leia o meu speech em inglês.
I direct myself to your excellencies as the president of the European Yoga Confederation and also as the president of the Portuguese Yoga Confederation. Due to my poor English and not want you to take too much of your time, I will ask of my Shishya to read my speech in English. Science teaches us that in this universe, nothing is lost and nothing is created. Everything is transformed. But if we observe closely, we will see it is not exactly so. Because ever since the moment of creation, the scientist tells us that at the instant zero, what we call the Big Bang, space and time were created, and that before that, nothing was there. And the universe was created out of nothing, they claim, which is, in the very least, extremely odd. Nonetheless, some rare scientists who were not conformed with this unacceptable contradiction began stating that this nothing is coming from those who know nothing about this matter. And they bravely set out to try to discover what happened before the instant zero of the cosmos. The first was German Max Planck, who in the beginning of the 20th century formulated his theory about the future cosmological cone, where he determines the features of the moment zero, the famous Planck's wall, and also of the instants before the Big Bang. Almost a century later, the renowned Bogdanov brothers, who are known as the Einstein of today, announced their famous cosmological cone, and the great initial singularity, combining with them the rare situation of matter in time, known as the KMS state, named like that because it was firstly characterized by three scientists, Kubu, Martin, and Schwinger. The fabulous scientific knowledge of the Bogdanov brothers, of theoretical physics and mathematician, because one of them is a physicist and the other is a mathematician, took them to analyze the 6 fundamental constants, which are the numerological base upon which lies all the structure of the cosmos, and to show that this universe already existed before it was formed, having been programmed outside of it in a creating media before the Big Bang ever occurred. And they characterize this creating media. There, time is imaginary, and as you know, a complex imaginary number is a number which its square is a negative number. They say more. Imaginary time is non-chronological, and therefore, in that media, eternity rules. And they also state that the entire structure of our universe already existed before, on that creating media, but under the form of information. Then they state that an energetic force, thus structured, suffers an adaptation, an intermediary transformation, where, for example, the imaginary time is transformed into complex time, which is a mixture between imaginary time and our real time, which would later come to create, with the Big Bang, the cosmos that we know today. A cosmos which is governed by a binary system, as the computer bit 0 and 1, or minus and plus. In that energetic substance, obeying to mathematical numerological principles, form all the very small world of the quarks and the leptons, where the Heisenberg's theory of uncertainty rules, which provide us with free will. All these will then form the atoms, which later will build everything that we know today. Stars, planets, galaxies, supergalaxy clusters, and filaments of superclusters, etc. Now let us analyze the fabulous multimillenary wisdom of India. For example, the Samkhya of Kapila. The Samkhya tells us that its name means number, reason. There existed a super universal media, Purusha, which using a powerful manasika, programmer and influencing, but without being involved in creation, sets into motion an unimaginable energetic substance, a substance of transition to this universe, the Mula Prakruti, which by setting free the super vibration that will rule everything, the Maha Om, which is called today a lesser name of Big Bang. And from therein, the Mahashakti naturally bringing with her the reflection of the Purusha, which is the spark of life and the consciousness in each one of us, shapes the universe, builds it, and develops it until the present moment and until the future. How extraordinary is this? Max Planck characterizes this instant zero at a moment of 10 to the minus 43 of the first second and calculates the tiniest dimension of the universe at that instant zero as 10 to the minus 33 centimeters. The existence of the Adiguru, Lord Shiva, the first Guru, has always been deeply remembered and respected by all. And for example, here is celebrated with the bow by the scientists at CERN, the largest subatomic research institute of Europe and of the world. Yoga is as complex as the human being to whom it is destined, and it is as vast as the cosmos from where it came. Yoga provides exceptional personal development, the exponentiation of health, and in its peak, the enlightened use of the brain, giving us a perspective of the global, far beyond the planetary habitat. Most of all, it provides the intended macro growth and the cosmic integration of the sadhaka in the path. Let us see shortly its 14 main technical disciplines. Asana, with the consequent tapa, the strength and the temper of self-demand, produces inviolable physical strength, muscular elasticity, joint flexibility, balance at all levels, and also unusual brain oxygenation with the anti-gravitic asana. And furthermore, a correct endocrinological activity, keeping the practitioner in a constant peak of youth. Here represented at the 7 chakra, which define also the 7 human dimensions, just like the 7 dimensions of this cosmos, with our spine, Sushumna Nadi or Merudanda, behaving like an Einstein-Rosen bridge. Through pranayama, which captures the essence of the universe, the prana, one obtains exceptional energy and vigor, a feature of the yogi, and its wise management as well as emotional control. Through yoga nidra, the fight against the deadly stress and its consequent infirmities, and the consolidation of a deep circadian and of top quality nocturnal sleep, and also swift and effective recoveries. Through kriya, and sattvic organic nutrition, organic detoxification, and building a healthy body. Using also the kirtana, inspiring and elevating. It uses also nyasa and the transmuting bandha, the reverent puja and triggers of healthy gratitude, the mudra of the subtle dialogue with the brain, manasika, the builder and planner of the proper and luminous future, the yantra and the japa of continuous concentration and mind control, and the samyama of the dhyana samadhi, meditation, an exceptional use of the brain, building multiple neuronal circuits beyond the supracognitive mind until reaching the intellective enlightenment. In its entirety, yoga makes us ascend to the level of the Kaivalya Mukta, takes us to transcend duality, and tells us the secrets of creation with the human cosmic perspective of the enlightened, liberated sage. The very ancient wisdom and superiority of Bharata, the motherland of yoga, is multimillenary, amazing, and uncomparable. Let us do an urgent analysis of the present moment. Humankind is being infected by a terrible poison, the poison of the disrespect for planetary and human life. But yoga possesses the antidote, the light of wisdom. The gateway to yoga is the first yama niyama, ahimsa, not to kill, non-aggression, to be fraternal. Since 2002 that we intend on June the 21st, the solstice, a cosmic auspice, the day of light, that yoga, under the guidance of India, becomes massively and globally practiced. In 2011 December, the famous Bengaluru summit of the Mahaguru, some of who, by the way, are present here today, approved the concept of the International Day of Yoga on the solstice of June the 21st. But it will be Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, who in an extraordinary manner succeeds in making the political officialization of this day at the United Nations in 2014 December. Shri Narendra Modi, just like a new Manu of today, recovers yoga, sometimes forgotten or lessened, as the great value of India and of all humanity. Since 2002 that we sought and succeeded that the representatives of all religions in Portugal and in the world would accept the practice of yoga as a great super-religious, practical, philosophical movement that everyone can and should practice in all ages, all genders, social classes, cultures, and continents. And we succeeded in making all of them approve, even the atheists. We cannot become yogi without understanding, assimilating, and accepting and practicing ahimsa, not to kill, to respect life. To use diplomatic solutions to resolve divergencies before they become conflicts. Ahimsa should become the great commandment of today. Today, all the leaders of the subtle should clearly state to their followers, no one enters the kingdom of heaven by committing suicide or by assassinating others. On the contrary, they shall suffer in each fraction of each second atrocious pains for thousands of years due to the matter of complex time, aggravated by the suffering of their victims that they dragged along with them. The youth should know from the true sages that this is a cosmic law. It is the reality of the other side. Now, with transparency and courage, everyone should highlight and teach this truth. At this historical moment, neutrality is treason. We do not know how to create life, which was given to us, because life is divine, and therefore life is sacred. At the closing session of the European Yoga Congress 2016 May, held at the European Parliament in Brussels, we gave a petition with 4 items to the members of the European Parliament. One of those 4 items asked for the integration of the traditional yoga from India in the student school curricula of the entire Europe. Europe requires it, the world needs it. Shri Narendra Modi succeeded with an extraordinary achievement that the motion of the United Nations about the International Day of Yoga, June the 21st, had 177 countries as co-sponsors, out of a possible 193, which was then approved by consensus and in less than 90 days. This is something that was unique in the 70 years of the United Nations. But he achieved even more, that on the first commemoration after this political officialization, the whole planet massively celebrates this International Day. 192 countries did it in more than 200 cities, making this a great global reality. Yoga today has become extremely popular thanks to this, which includes the practice to all ages. The other item on our petition to the European Parliament is that the United Nations therefore officializes June 21st as the first Global Day of Humanity, the first day for global consciousness and fraternal consciousness. We need lucidity and fraternity, both the human being as well as the planet, to continue to be inserted in a universe accordingly to the cosmic harmony. The third item of that motion is that women, the reflection of the Mahashakti, begin being treated with more dignity in Europe and in the entire planet. That Europe ceases to point their finger to other cultures and in fact do something visible and tangible. And the last item, that Russia, as a European nation that in fact already is, becomes included in Europe as quickly as possible. As we already did in the European Yoga Confederation, of which the Great Russia is an integrant part, right from the very first day as a founding member. Yogi are usually used to do things better and to lead ahead. Let us remind wisely, in a war, everyone loses, both losers and winners. There must be peace, so that there is enough time, so that the great cosmic plan is fulfilled. We, the yogi, are builders. We are the allies of life. We are the army of light, of the great universal creating force. The rest is rhetorical emptiness. Let us honor the divine trilogy, light, life, and love. To finish, I tell you that Lord Shiva showed me once more a vision of the future, where the fights among nations shall be fought between those nations' orchestras, and those who can produce the highest vibrations shall win the fight.
Por uma humanidade iluminada.
For an enlightened humanity.
Om Shanti.
This was the deliberation from Swami Amrit Suryananda ji. All of we enjoyed it, and especially you enjoyed it perfectly because you could see it through the visual presentation. Anyhow, I'm thankful for this cooperation extended by Swami Amrit Suryananda ji, explaining the visit of yoga from body to beyond. And now, finally, I request Swami Maheshwarananda ji as chairperson to conclude the event, and since Honorable Minister is also present here, he'll also, I think, he would love to bless the occasion. ये बहुत बड़ी बात है कि पूरे फर्स्ट सेशन में वो पूरा समय दे रहे हैं, इससे ही उनकी हमारे प्रति मोहब्बत का पता चल जाता है।
ओंकारबिंदुसयुक्तं मनित्यदायन्ति योगिनः कामदं मोक्षदं चैव ओंकाराय नमो नमः। His Holiness Yoga Rishi, I'm sure that Maharishi Patanjali has already incarnated in this. Ramdev ji is one is so clear person, transparent. Yes, he have no raga, no dvesha. He represents that yogi who how should be. I never saw him carrying a one little bag. I don't know how he managed so many billion of the dollars. He have nothing, but just to lungi and shawl, chadar. I can tell you, it is not, that I'm not saying because he's sitting beside me. He have reawakened the feelings, the awareness in each and every human's brain about yoga. In India, nearly people forgotten the yoga. But it is thanks to Ramdev ji, tirelessly. He traveled around the whole India, every day, hot or the cold or the raining. He gets up 3:30 and he's on 4:30 or 4 o'clock, he's on the stage and practicing yoga, and there are millions of people coming without invitation. What can we do more? Yes, he's an example of a yogi, physically, mentally, spiritually, socially, politically, economically. Yes, and of course the Swamiji have a little bit love for me too. So he mentioned something about belly, the stomach. But he taught it. He is showing how to do the Udyan Bandha. And then in European countries they say, Swamiji, what is the opposite to Udyan Bandha? That you should demonstrate. Yes? So we learned that there are different pranayams, but in reality there is only 3 pranayams: Rechak, Purak and Kumbhak. But there are many techniques. So Ramdev ji began to teach these 2, the Kapalbhati and Bhastrika. And Anulom Vilom, that is good, and Nadi Sodhan, Surya Vedana, etc. Kapalbhati, okay. But then came the Bhastrika Pranayam. Now the people have a problem to understand a difference between Kapalbhati and Bhastrika. Big difference. Each technique is big different. So Kapalbhati is going like this. So it means that locomotive doesn't start. अभी तो on the platform. Then comes the Kapalbhati after Bhastrika. Yes. how should it go? In Kapalbhati, stomach does not expand. It's only going in, contracting. There is no expansion. And shoulders should not move. It's a bit difficult. So I have to go through Bhastrika, and in Bhastrika, stomach has to go out and then in. So that I have to make a demonstration, so it's not my mistake. So then the locomotive starts. And when the locomotive goes through the tunnel, then little high, then it goes like this. So these both have to very practically, the Europeans are very different people. They want to know exactly. So I had made a very hard work to grow the belly. And now you have to teach me the... So Swamiji, sorry. Hari Om, that's it. Second, the Ramdevji's, I adore him very much. Now, there is one Mahatma said something, कुबेर भी हाजिर जिसके फिर भी भिक्षा से दिन गुजारते हैं, लापरवाही हो तो ऐसी हो, और अमर हो जिसको खाने से मिठाई हो तो ऐसी हो, और फटा दे मन विषयों से खटाई हो तो ऐसी हो। ये हमारे रामदेव जी का नेचर है। ये कुबेर जी इनके पीछे पीछे दौड़ रहे, लक्ष्मी जी पीछे पीछे दौड़ रहे, लेकिन इनके पास तो थैली भी नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है। ये तो बस सब कुछ छोड़ दिया, लुंगी, और ये भी बिल्कुल ढीला ढाला, कहीं कुछ नहीं रुकता। लेकिन भगवान की पर कृपा है। सो सच ए ग्रेट सेंट, ए योगी, वी विश हिम a long life. He said 50 years, but I would say very long years. We can't count the numbers. Dear brothers and sisters, with thanks to our respected Prime Minister Modi ji, he is a Yug Purusha, and with this work together about yoga with all the yogis and Modi ji as well as our Ramdev ji, when this yoga was declared as International Day of the Yoga, the whole world has accepted. That for me was that it was a step from the Kali Yuga is ending and Satyuga began. That was the first step into the Satyuga. Yoga is all, as we say, the science. Yoga is that which balances the space, energy, and consciousness. Yoga which balances our body, mind, emotion, and intellect. But yoga is not a theory, it's a practice. The tons of theory is nothing compared with the gram of the practice. And one can see the result, the person who is really practicing. You can see in our Ramdev ji. So thank you, Ramdev ji, for your beautiful work. Now, he gave the yoga exercises to the world, but still people are lazy, some like me, maybe. So he gave second blessing. The first was a yoga blessing, and now second blessings, and that is the Ayurveda, and is all the ancient Indian medical system. So I think he's not making this all for the money or something like this, but for our good health. Everything, whatever is coming from Patanjali center, Pitha, is a very pure. There is no any manipulated. As Hamar Ramdev ji is very pure, and his all production is very pure. Ramdev ji, thank you and wish you all the best and God bless you. Dear brothers and sisters, thank you very much.